Hi, you're listening to the voice of Stephanie Weiss, your online learning librarian here at UNF, and we're going to look at some examples to help you find research articles for your assignment where you have to find information about the instruction practices of English as a foreign language in some different countries. So I have a few countries that we'll use as examples, and we'll go to a few different resources to look at those. And we'll also open up some articles and look at a few features that can help you decide whether or not you're looking at empirical or original research as opposed to a review article, for example. So first I want to show OneSearch briefly. OneSearch is kind of a good place to go. It's basically an interdisciplinary database that we created by putting all of our other databases together and giving you one place to search, but you're actually searching across all of them, or the vast majority of them anyway. So I always find it a good place to start, especially when I'm trying to maybe test out some searching terms or figure out what are some hot topics in an area that I'm trying to do research on to get a better understanding of what's going on in the discipline. So I'm going to start with Taiwan as our country example. And so because OneSearch is basically an interdisciplinary database that's pulling from almost all of our databases, you do get a lot of different types of resources here. You'll see some video, you'll see books, you'll see academic journals, you'll see news and magazine reports. We're going to narrow that down a little bit. First, let me add some more search terms. So I just clicked on the advanced search so that I could get these extra boxes here. I'm going to add some more search terms so that we can be more specific. So I did a little testing earlier and it looked like EFL or English as a foreign language were okay. I'm going to choose that one that it popped up for me, and I'm also going to make that a phrase by putting English as a foreign language in quotation marks. And so that should tell the database to find those words all next to each other. And it is looking anywhere, not just in the title. So if you don't see that phrase in the title, that's okay. It's found it somewhere else in the paper. It could be in the article itself. It could be in a subject heading. But it's a good thing to do if you want to narrow stuff down. If you've got a multiple word phrase, but you find yourself coming up with things that are those words, but they're not exactly what you're looking for. So this is a pretty good start, but I want to show you how you can narrow down a little bit farther. You can, of course, add some more search terms. So we might add instruction or teaching strategies, something like that. But you can narrow it down to peer-reviewed academic journal articles. You can click academic journals, and then you can also click peer-reviewed on the left here. Not all academic journals are peer-reviewed, but all peer-reviewed journals are going to be academic. So if we check both of those, we'll be sure to get only the peer-reviewed content. And other things you might want to do is adjust your publication date. So apparently there's something from 1922 in this list here, all the way up to the present. So you might want to bring that forward. I'll just say 2010. And then you have some more current information here. Another thing you might want to do is select some subject headings. In my test searches, I found this pretty helpful. It also probably depends on your country, so you can hit subject and then show more. And this will show you the 50 most popular subject headings or tags that are attached to anything in our result list. And you can select as many as you want. And that can help you potentially narrow down your search some more. So let's open an article and look at it here. I'm going to go ahead and open the PDF full text. And you can adjust the size of this. I'm going to blow it up here so it's a little bit easier for us to see on the screen. And you can, of course, check out the abstract. Most of the time, a researcher will explain, at least briefly, how they've conducted this research. If it was a study where they gathered some data or did observations, then they will usually say that. If it was a literature review article where they looked at the published articles on the topic and then brought them together in sort of a state of the discipline article, then it will say that. The ones that you want to find are the original research, that empirical research, where the researcher actually did something, did a study, collected some data in some way. And this is one of those. It does mention that in the abstract, but you can also head to a methods section. Most of the time an article like this will have a methods section, and they will tell you how they did or how they selected, observed, or did the activity they did to come up with this research. So that's OneSearch briefly. Let's go back to the library homepage and go visit a database or two. So I clicked Find Databases, and I'm going to select all subjects so I can find our education list. A little bit easier to deal with. So we have a few recommendeds here and then several other databases. I would say you might want to go to this education source since it is recommended. And you'll notice that this looks a little bit similar to OneSearch. That's because it's from the same company. You might have noticed this EBSCOhost logo here. That means that they're owned by the same company. But if we do our same search here, I'll pick a different country this time. Do Saudi Arabia. And L or English as a foreign language. I may want to go ahead and do that phrase search again. So you can already see that even though I chose a different country, the results will be similar. Because we are using an education-only database, our result pool is a lot smaller. But in this particular database, because it is also an EBSCO database, everything else looks basically the same as in OneSearch. I do want to point out a couple of things though. So in this database, we have things in here that we don't necessarily have full text access for. It could be for a variety of reasons, but that's okay. If this article looks like exactly something that you would want to read and you want to get it, you can just click that link that says not available, and you can select the interlibrary loan link, log into the Iliad system with your N number and password, and then you can request this article and we'll send a copy to you. Go back to our list. You may also see a different link. There's not one on this page, but sometimes instead of PDF full text, it says full text finder or full text through a different database name. But it's definitely easy to get to things that you would like or request that we get them for you. Anything you order through interlibrary loan will generally come in 2 business days or less, and you don't have to come and pick anything up unless it's a physical item and you would like to, but we can also mail physical things to you as well. So let's check out another database. Let's check this other one in the recommended list. This is from a different provider, so the interface will look a little different, but our searching will kind of be the same. So I will do the Saudi Arabia again, just as a brief comparison, since we've already done that. And EFL or English as a foreign language. We can select any of these if we want to. I'll just hit teaching English as a foreign language. That was suggested to me. You can keep adding rows if you want to add more things here. You can automatically check that peer-reviewed journals box and make any other adjustments. I hit send or search, and it looks like I've got 15 items in this database. I did hit peer reviewed, so that's on. So that's a nice little list to look through. In basically all of the databases that you might use for education research, whether it's OneSearch or Education Source or this Educator's Reference, you'll basically have access to save any of the articles that you find. A lot of times it will be a PDF. You can click and open. There might be a save button for you. A lot of times you can send it to yourself to read later if you'd like to do that. And most databases allow you to make an account to save citations if you'd like to go and read them later. You can also save citations in a citation manager like RefWorks or EndNote, and I will make sure that Dr. Kim has links to our resources on those if you'd like to use them, and feel free to get in touch if you have any questions. Happy searching!